If you've ever found yourself just staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., you know that sleep can feel like this impossible puzzle. Well, today we're going to put the pieces together for you. We've dug through all the research to build a clear, practical roadmap to finally get you some better sleep. So let's just dive right in with a question that I think gets to the absolute heart of the problem for so many of us. You're exhausted. You know you need to sleep. So you try. You really, really try. And somehow, the harder you try, the wider awake you feel. What is going on there? Well, this whole frustrating cycle actually has a name. It's called the sleep effort paradox. You see, the very act of trying to sleep puts your brain into problem-solving mode. It generates all this mental arousal. But here's the thing. Sleep isn't a problem you can solve. It's a state of relaxation you have to allow. It's kind of like one of those Chinese finger traps. The more you struggle, the tighter its grip gets. So to help you break free, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by really figuring out the root cause. Then we'll build our solution piece by piece, starting with a new mindset, adding a powerful nightly ritual, and even looking at the clinical gold standard for treatment. And then, at the end, we'll put it all together into a plan that works for you.
Okay, first things first. Let's get into what is actually happening inside our brains when sleep just refuses to come. And you should know, this has very little to do with willpower and a whole lot to do with biology. So when we get stressed or anxious, our body kicks into what's called a sleep stress response. Now, this is a super ancient survival instinct. It fires up our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight mode. Its job is to keep us hyper alert and ready for danger, which is great if there's a tiger outside, but not so great when all you want to do is rest.
And this is so important to understand. The problem isn't that you're broken. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do. It's trying to protect you. The only issue is that nowadays the danger it's sensing is more likely a work deadline or a nagging worry, not something hiding in the bushes.
And this chart really shows the difference perfectly. Look, waking up briefly in the middle of the night is totally normal. Everybody does it. But for someone struggling with insomnia, that totally normal moment of waking up triggers this wave of panic, right? Oh no, I'm awake. And that worry just kicks the sleep stress response right back into gear, creating this awful vicious cycle.
So if our brain's own protective instinct is part of the problem, then the very first step on our roadmap has to be about our mindset. And this is a huge one, because before we can change what we do, we have to change how we think. This is the foundation for everything else.
There's a really great insight here from Stoic philosophy. It reminds us that sleep itself isn't something we can directly control, so the goal has to be to stop fighting it. It's really about letting go, trusting that your body, like every other human body on the planet, already knows how to sleep, and just accepting that thoughts and feelings are going to come and go.
So what does this mean for you practically? It means you need to reframe your goal. Stop chasing this rigid number like I have to get 8 hours of sleep. That just creates a ton of performance anxiety. Instead, shift your focus to something you actually can control, creating the best possible conditions for your body to get restorative rest. You're just giving it the opportunity, not forcing an outcome.
And what's really cool is that this restful mindset creates this amazing, positive feedback loop. For instance, a brand new study found that people who got more sleep actually felt twice as much gratitude. It's a total two-way street. A calm mind makes it easier to sleep, and good sleep rewards you with a calmer, more positive mind the next day.
So how do you actually build this foundation? Well, you can try some simple but really powerful practices. You could offload all your worries by writing down tomorrow's to-do list before bed. You could try journaling just 3 things you're grateful for. Or, and I love this one, you can try a counterintuitive little trick called paradoxical intention. You just gently tell yourself, okay, I'm just going to try to stay awake for a few minutes. It sounds weird, but it cleverly removes all that pressure to fall asleep.
Okay, now that we have that restful mindset as our foundation, we can start to build the next layer of our roadmap. These are the practical, nightly rituals that will send a clear signal to your body that it's time to wind down.
A really powerful routine is all about sending clear signals to your brain that the day is over. And honestly, the single most important signal you can send is having a consistent wake-up time. Yes, even on weekends. That one thing anchors your entire body clock. After that, things like dimming the lights, relaxing your body with a warm bath, and, of course, unplugging from screens all help reinforce that message.
Now, let's be real. Unplugging from our phones is probably the hardest part for most of us. This timeline from a 1-week experiment shows what that journey actually feels like. Day 1, it's just this constant, reflexive itch to check your phone. By day 5, though, that urge starts to feel kind of distant. And by the end of the week, the urge is pretty much gone, and sleep quality is way, way up.
And hey, if you're looking for a really powerful relaxation tool to add to your ritual, you could try something called non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. It's basically a term for things like guided meditations that are designed to shift your nervous system out of that fight or flight mode and into rest and digest. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. You just lie there and listen.
All right, so what if you've tried shifting your mindset and you've built a really solid ritual, but you're still dealing with chronic sleep issues? Well, in that case, there is a clinical gold standard for treatment that you absolutely should know about.
It's called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBT-I for short. And get this, major medical groups recommend it as the first-line treatment for chronic insomnia, even before trying medication. Why? Because it works. It's a structured program that helps improve sleep in up to 80% of patients by getting to the root thoughts and behaviors that are keeping that insomnia cycle going.
CBT-I uses a few really powerful techniques. For example, there's something called sleep restriction therapy. Now, I know that sounds intense, but it works by temporarily limiting your time in bed to match how much you're actually sleeping. This makes your sleep deeper and builds this powerful biological drive to rest. It also uses stimulus control to basically retrain your brain to see your bed as a place for sleep and only for sleep.
Whew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here, from mindset all the way to medicine. So now, let's bring it all together into a personal roadmap that you can start using, like tonight.
Look, this isn't some rigid step-by-step program you have to follow perfectly. Think of it more like a toolkit. You just start with what feels most relevant to you right now. If your mind is always racing at night, start with the mindset work. If your evenings feel totally chaotic, focus on building that ritual. The key is just to start somewhere and let that momentum build.
And that brings us to one last, final thought to leave you with. We spent all this time building a roadmap to get better sleep. But what if? What if the ultimate goal isn't about achieving perfect, uninterrupted sleep every single night? What if the real win is just becoming more at peace with wakefulness itself?